Hey all my precious subbies, this is Shauna with Love Meets Cake. Ready for something easy and delicious? Butterfinger berries, Butterfinger berries, I messed it up. Alright y'all, let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to want to take your strawberries, make sure you wash them off and dry them off good. And then we're going to use milk chocolate chips, a couple Butterfinger bars, some Butterscotch Chips, a pack of cream cheese, vanilla extract, 2 cups of powdered sugar, some baggies, some toothpicks, I like to use the extra long ones, some cupcake wrappers so we can put our berries into the wrappers, and paper towels. So I'm drying off my berries that I have already washed, and you want to always make sure before you dip your berries in chocolate they're completely dry, because if there's any water droplets on it, when it gets into the chocolate, it's going to jack your chocolate up. So next I'm going to pour my chocolate chips into a microwavable bowl. And when you melt chocolate, you always want to start melting first for 30 seconds, which I did here, so you can see it's partially melted. And then you want to stir it, and then you pop it back in the microwave again for another 30 seconds. And the reason why you do 30-second intervals is because if you microwave your chocolate too long, it'll burn a lot easier, so it's better to melt it in 30-second intervals at a time, stirring in between. Now something I want to show you right here is that the chocolate was pretty thick, so what I always like to do is thin out my chocolate. So I'm showing you a couple different ways you can thin it out. You can either use shortening, or you can use Paramount crystals that I showed you in that bag there, but I'm not going to use it for this video because I'm using it for a different project. Or you can use coconut oil. Since I am doing this for a customer, I don't want to use coconut oil because for all I know they may have coconut allergies. So my preference is either shortening or the Paramount crystals. So as you can see, I put a spoon of shortening in there. By the way, if you do shortening, you can't taste it. So, before anybody starts screaming and going and saying you can't taste it. And then what I'm going to do is pop it back in the microwave just for a little bit. And then as you can see, now my chocolate is nice and thin, so it's a lot easier to dip. You get prettier berries, all that jazz. Of course, thinning your chocolate is optional, but that's always my preference because you're going to get a better dip when you dip your berries. Next, I'm going to open up my Butterfinger candy bars, put them in a plastic baggie, and then I'm going to crush the Butterfinger up. And then you can pour the crushed Butterfinger into a bowl. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, so next we're going to take our toothpicks, insert that into the middle of the strawberry, and I like to hold the toothpick and the leaves together so the leaves don't get in the chocolate. So these don't have to be beautiful glam berries, right? So you're just going to dip the berry into the chocolate. You don't have to do anything special. And then we are going to roll it around in the crushed Butterfinger. How easy is that? Come on now, you cannot mess these up. Boom! And then you're going to place it down on your parchment paper or your foil so it can dry. Now also I left the big chunks of chocolate in there from the candy bar. It's your preference if you want to dig the little chocolate pieces out. They're kind of annoying me, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, let's make it look candy bar, so let's leave it on there. So whatever your preference is. So as you can see, my berries are nicely coated in the Butterfinger crumble. These are so good. And if you want, you could have just left your berries at that and go ahead and start eating them. But if you want to do the cream cheese part, let's go ahead and start that now. So I'm going to put my cream cheese in a bowl. And by the way, my cream cheese has been left out room temperature, so it's nice and soft. I'm going to beat that in my mixer. Pour in the 2 cups of powdered sugar. And then just a dash of vanilla extract. Boom. And then we're going to mix that together. This particular mixer, I actually hate it and toss it in the trash. Because how dare it blow powdered sugar all on me. It was weird. I tossed it out, got me a new mixer. So anyway, I ended up stirring the rest of my cream cheese. Now, if you want to be fancy, you can use a piping tip, which I showed you. I used the Wilton 21 piping tip, and I put it into a piping bag. Now, if you want, you can just put your cream cheese into a Ziploc baggie and then just cut the end. If you don't have a piping bag, that's fine. But if you want the fancy berries, you can use any kind of star tip that you have, but I'm using the Wilton 21 star tip. As you can see, we cut off the little ends. And then we're going to fill our bag with the cream cheese. Next, I have a paper towel, and then what I'm going to do is take a knife and I'm going to cut out the inside of the berry. And then I like to turn the berry down on the paper towel so that the extra juices in the berry will drip out into the paper towel. When the inside of your berry is dry, it makes it a lot easier for your cream cheese to stick to it. If it's a super juicy and super wet, your cream cheese is going to slide out. Alright, so I have all my berries hollowed out. Now we're going to take our butterscotch chips and we're going to put that into another microwavable bowl, just a little bit, because this part is going for the drizzle, so we don't need a whole lot of this. So I microwaved that for 30 seconds and I'm putting that into a little baggie. And then I'm going to cut a little piece of the end. And now I decided to just fill the berry with the cream cheese first before drizzling it. So boom, 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 boom. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle the berry with the butterscotch. Yum, yum, yum. These are so daggone good, it's not even funny. Alright, all finished. How easy was that? Was this difficult at all? No, little kids can do this by themselves at the crib for a fun activity, okay? So if you saw my video on strawberry crumble cheesecake berries, you notice that this is the same exact technique. We're just using different coatings. So that means you can get creative and just marinate and let your brain juices just come up with different flavor combinations. In the past, I've done cookies and cream cheesecake berries, strawberry lemon cheesecake berries, fruity pebble cheesecake berries. Just have fun and get creative and try something new. All right, bye.